Bernard Hopkins versus Chad Dawson. Bernard Hopkins versus Chad Dawson. This fight right here, man, I'm going to go with Bernard Hopkins to beat Chad Dawson. And the main reason I'm going to go with Bernard Hopkins to beat Chad Dawson is because Bernard Hopkins as a fighter has the ability to box, fundamentally sound box, and also another style that every good boxer must have, which is the ability to just fight in the ring. Let the fundamentals go out the window and just let those hands go and fight and throw combinations. You see a boxer like John Pascal, he's able to do this. He's able to box with fundamentals and style and discipline, but also he's able to just let loose, drop all the fundamentals, and just let those hands go and just fight. Shane Mosley is good at this. Pascal, Andre Ward, Bernard Hopkins. These are boxers who can box and use all their fundamentals, 1-2, jab, jab, defense, 1-2, they use their fundamental skills, they use their boxing fundamentals, but whenever there's a time in the fight, whenever there's a time in the boxing match where they have to just let go of fundamentals and just throw and let those hands go, they have no problem doing it, and they're very successful. This is why I like Bernard Hopkins over Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson, as a boxer, when you're a fighter, when you're a professional boxer, there's boxing and then there's fighting. There's two different styles. The good boxers can box or fight. Box and fight. They can incorporate the two. They can turn it on and turn it off like that. Okay? Like I said, Bernard Hopkins, John Pascal, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather, Shane Mosley. These are guys that are great examples of guys who can box as well as just drop the fundamentals, let loose, let go, and just fight. Let your hands go, so to speak. They can do it like that. Chad Dawson has a problem with that. Chad Dawson is an awesome boxer, but has a problem with the letting go of the fundamentals and just letting those hands go and rumbling. Okay? Not being reckless and stupid and careless, and not being dismissive of defense. I'm not saying he should do that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he has a problem with just fighting. As you saw when he fought Pascal. Pascal get close to him. There was many times when Pascal got close to him and he would just fight Dawson. He didn't really box fundamentally and use a tactic or a strategy on him. He just would get close and bam, 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 bam. Let those hands go and throw those combinations. Stick and move. Okay? John Pascal versus Carl Froch. You saw Pascal and Carl Froch. You saw Pascal basically fight Carl Froch. He didn't box him. He fought Carl Froch. That was a fight where you saw Pascal just fighting. Froch was boxing. You know what I mean? This is why I say, in my opinion, I feel strongly Pascal won that fight. It is old. It was an awesome fight. But in my opinion, Pascal won that fight because he landed more punches because of his style that he jumped into it, because of his style that he used during that fight. He automatically landed more punches than Froch because Pascal threw more punches. Pascal was fighting. He wasn't boxing Carl Froch. Carl Froch was boxing. I still believe Pascal won that fight on Carl Froch. But much props to Carl Froch. He's an awesome fighter. Good boxer, good for the sport of boxing. Chad Dawson has a problem with just fighting. During the fight, Dawson versus Pascal, you saw Dawson just stick to just boxing. And that disciplined 1-2 structured boxing style, boxing fundamental, structured, disciplined, 1-2 throwing your combinations, that's awesome because that's boxing. It's beautiful. Chad Dawson is a beautiful, awesome boxer. Problem is when you're in the ring with a fighter who can box and just let loose and fight, you have a problem. Because that guy, he's somewhat wild, but there's a method to his madness. There's a method to all the punches he's throwing. And he is sticking and moving, keeping that head down, dodging, and moving out the way. So there is a method to the madness. When you just get in there as a fighter and say, I'm just going to fight and I'm going to win. I'm going to let my hands go and win. When you see Pascal do it, Andre Ward, Mosley, when they fight like that, when they just fight and leave the boxing fundamentals and leave the disciplined boxing style. When they just fight, there is a method to their madness. They're not in there just wild and reckless. Dawson can't do that. You saw it in the Pascal fight. Pascal took it to him, rumbled, let those hands go. Let me not say rumble, because I may make people think that I want Pascal, I want Dawson to be reckless and foolish. No. Let me say this. When Pascal fought Dawson, he fought him. When Pascal fought Dawson, he fought Dawson. He didn't box him, he fought him. He let those hands go, threw those combos, and that's what it was overwhelming for Dawson. Dawson couldn't handle that style. He couldn't handle it because it was just too much. It was too aggressive, too wild and reckless. He didn't know how to really deal with it. He blocked and parried and shoulder rolled as much as he could, and he landed some punches on Pascal because of his good reach and whatnot, Dawson. But he got out-punched, outworked because of the style and the mentality that Dawson used against, that Pascal used against Dawson. Because of the style that Pascal used, Dawson was overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed, and it was really a shock to see. It was just like, man, this dude Pascal was kicking Dawson's butt, and Dawson had no answer for him. Why? Because one guy is being disciplined and fundamentally sound, while the other guy is, you know what I'm saying, letting those hands go and just fighting, right? Throwing those combos, keeping their head low, throwing those combos, sticking and moving. That's why Dawson couldn't beat Pascal, and that's why Dawson looked overwhelmed by Pascal, because Pascal just said, I'm just going to let my hands go, man. I'm not going to box this guy, be all disciplined, throwing combos, and just sticking and moving and being disciplined with him and being structured. I'm not going to box this guy like this because he's an excellent boxer. I'm just going to fight. I'm just going to fight and let my hands go. That's what Pascal did versus Dawson. Because Dawson has a problem with this and can't really adopt the two different styles that every great fighter needs. Hell, even Sugar Ray Robinson was good at boxing and also just letting his hands go and just fighting. Two different styles when you box. You box or you fight, or you can incorporate the two. Roy Jones is good at it. That's the best are good at it. Even Muhammad Ali. Bernard Hopkins can box as well as just fight. And I feel strongly that if he gets rough and let those hands go and just fights Dawson, of course, there's always a method to the madness. Don't think when a fighter's in there like Pascal boxed Dawson, don't think that what you saw from Pascal when he fought Dawson, don't think that he was just in there reckless and wild. No, there was a method to his madness, and as you see, Dawson was overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed. I think Bernard Hopkins can possibly do the same thing to Dawson. If Bernard stays fundamentally sound and stays, using boxing regular boxing, he may lose to Dawson because Dawson's a really good boxer. Good reach, good power, good combinations, smart, beautiful. Dawson is a great example of what a boxer is. Chad Dawson, he's awesome. I think Bernard Hopkins is going to get rough on him. And open up and just fight him just like Pascal did. Okay? Yeah, and for the record, Pascal can box as well. I've seen him just stick and move and box brilliantly when he fought guys. And I've seen him just box before, so he can do both, as all great fighters can. But I feel strong in this fight, but Bernard Hopkins is just going to box. Just going to fight. Just going to fight, be a little rough with Dawson, throw off the more disciplined, structured boxer. I think that's how Bernard Hopkins is going to win this fight, and I think that that's what he's going to do. I feel strongly that's what he's going to do. I don't think Chad Dawson has learned how to deal with an opponent who just opens up and lets those hands go and gets a little wild and gets a little open and reckless on him. I don't know if Chad can deal with that. Okay? I don't know if he's learned it or worked on it, but he definitely needs to, because he was completely dominated by Pascal. It was like, wow, he had no answer for him. And I feel strong in this fight, Bernard Hopkins is going to try to do the same to Chad Dawson. And Bernard is one of the best at doing it. He's one of the best at just fighting. Just letting go and just fighting. And getting a little rough. Bernard get a little rough on you with that head. Y'all know what he do. Bernard Hopkins versus Chad Dawson. I'm going to go with the veteran Bernard Hopkins to beat Chad Dawson. There's some limitations to Chad Dawson's boxing style. I like him, but he has limits. Bernard Hopkins is much more well-rounded as a boxer who can also just let loose and fight, and he's more seasoned as a veteran. Bernard Hopkins versus Chad Dawson. I'm going to go with Bernard Hopkins to win this fight. Thanks for watching.